What's going on, guys? Zeros here. And coming off of my last video when I talked about free bearing and free edgy sphinx, I left off with saying that I'm more afraid about the endgame than I have ever been before. Because there's another video I made which a lot of people didn't see where I asked them if things were really getting better, if what we were doing here on YouTube was really making a difference when it comes to the hearts and minds of individuals, which I would imagine to be the point of making all of these different video responses. I would imagine the point that people put any effort into making these videos and talking is to have some effect on the viewer. I know that is certainly my objective. My objective is absolutely to convince the viewer to think differently or to think at all about any particular topic. You know, if at the very least I want you to think complexly about what was spoken today. If you don't feel the way I feel, I mean, I'm totally fine with that. I just want you to, think. That's my objective, and I would imagine that would be the objective of most people. Well, I would hope that that would be the objective of most people. Really, what I've seen is most people just kind of want to make money and be popular, and that's a sad thing to see, especially when I see people that got a lot of power and influence do nothing with all of that power and influence. And that's what even makes me even more afraid when I talk about the so-called endgame. And what I mean by that, what I mean when I say the endgame, is the endgame of anti-feminism or the men's rights movement, or even MGTOWs, like the endgame of even the alt-right, the endgame of even white nationalists, the endgame of any anarcho-capitalists. What is the endgame for any of these groups, of any of these people who make these video responses, who make these videos? What is the point? What's, at the end of the day, what are we trying to accomplish? And the thing that has been bothering me for quite some time, actually, is the fact that I cannot tell a single person anyone else's endgame but my own. And I think that that is a bit disturbing. Disturbing in the sense that I don't know where these people stand, which means I can't really call these people my allies or my friends because I don't know if I should trust them or not, because I don't even know what their own principles are. I know what they tell me their principles are, but when I see them throw those principles right in their face and act like a bunch of spoiled children, then I get really confused. And then I wonder if these are actually the people I believe them to be. But of course, that's nonsensical when you actually stop and think about it, because I don't know these people. I don't talk to these people. I only see them for all of 5 to 15 minutes a day on their YouTube channel. How could I possibly know and understand the complexities of someone's mind just simply watching a YouTube video? Well, I can't. And that is a bit scary, because that means all I know about this person is just what they show me. And that should be the way, then that's just the natural, that's just the way things are. But in terms of an online movement, in terms of actually trying to change the hearts and minds of people, don't you think it would make some sort of sense to have some type of principle or some type of mission statement or some type of purpose or point? Again, if that's your objective. If the only objective is just to look cool on the internet to a niche group of people and just get some money off of it, then by all means, they're doing it correctly. But if the idea is to change people, if the idea is to get something done, sometimes I don't think that this is the best way to go about it. The reason why is because I'm not seeing much change occurring. And that's sad. Again, I see lots of YouTube videos, certainly. I see lots of channels. I see lots of young ladies claim that they're not feminist anymore. Or lots of young ladies making videos as to why they are not feminists. And it's the same tripe over and over again. I'm not a feminist because I love men. Or I'm not a feminist because blah, 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 blah. Just a bunch of bullshit. There's no core idea. There's no I'm not a feminist, because at its core, feminism is an evil movement that does nothing but sow dissent between men and women. It's none of that. You know, there's always the mush that, I was alright with second and first wave feminism. No real there's no real look at history and look into the movement and look into what these women in the past were saying, to where these women will fundamentally disagree with feminism. Now they're just all like, I'm just against all of the women whining for special treatment and privileges. The first feminists, they were alright. No, they weren't alright. They weren't alright people. Feminism was and continues to be a movement of selfish people, just in general, men and women, who do nothing but just contribute to the destruction of society. And sometimes these people do it without even realizing that's what their objective is. They're just mindlessly doing it, which is why I don't treat all feminists as bad people, which is why my ultimate goal is to wake these people up so they stop contributing to that destruction. But that seems to be another video for another time. The point that I'm really making with that spiel, or that mini rant, was there's no fundamental core principles that anyone has against feminism. And that just leaves a bunch of people kind of nitpicking and whining about a bunch of shit on the internet. Which is why, which I've seen lots of other feminists will then come out and say that, like the social justice warriors who have begun making response videos or have begun talking back to anti-feminist and anti-social justice warriors have noticed that string of content, especially, and unfortunately this is just the truth, in Bearing. And they see that Bearing is just some guy with the cartoon bear just making fun of little girls on the internet. And that would be an accurate description. I mean, sure, maybe they're not teenagers, but they're like 19, 20-year-old girls that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And instead of, you know, explaining to them why they're wrong, he just kind of makes fun of them a little bit. Well, originally he did. Now he started to actually respond to them. But that assessment of Bearing, there's no way around it. He's just taking the piss out of these people. That's all he's doing. But, I mean, is he changing the hearts and minds of people? I don't imagine that be the case. Is he actually having an effect on a great degree of people? I don't know. It just looks like he's just saying the same thing to people who already understand this content to begin with. Hell, maybe that's what I'm doing too, and that would be horrible. Because, I mean, if you're not reaching any new people, if you're not changing the hearts and minds and making people think make people think differently to change or do something about the world, then what's the point? If we're all just around saying the same thing to the same people all of the time, what are we doing? We're not changing anything. We're just reinforcing our own beliefs, our own biases, and that would be the exact opposite of what I would like to do. I want to convince young feminists, or young men and women, whatever, any feminists, that their ideology is bad, or their ideology is not conducive to creating a healthy society. That's my objective. That's why I make these videos. That's my point. But I can't tell you the point of Shoenet. I can't tell you what Sargon's endgame is. I can't tell you what Armor Skeptic's endgame is. I can't tell you what these people want in the end. I don't know where they stand at all. I mean, all I know is that they call themselves liberals and that they say that they lean on the left, but as far as that goes, I mean, I still can't peg, again, what their endgame is and what their ultimate goal is, what they're trying to do. I think that's sad. I think it should be clear and understandable, you know, especially if the objective is to do something about the way the world currently is. Because, I mean, again, if the objective is not to do something about the world, if the objective is just to take the piss out of people on the internet that you find to be stupid, then I mean, sure, they're doing it correctly. But if the point is to do something, if the point is to make some type of change in the culture, to make some type of change in the way people treat each other, as I try to do, you know, with humor and logic and rationality, and trying to put something interesting in each video I make, if that is the goal, then again, I would like to see more of that, and I don't see it all that much. I don't see people using the platforms and using the opportunities that have been given to them to do something. I mean, there's another video I just recently uploaded with Cult of Dusty, where, you know, instead of using the platform that was given to him to do something, all he does is just call Christians stupid people. And I feel like, again, you've got all these people watching, all these people listening to you, and what's the best thing you can do with that? Nothing. Think about that. All that power, all that influence you have, you've got all these people listening, and what do? You just tell them the same thing over and over again. And that's sad. At least I think it to be really sad and really disturbing. So after saying all of that, what is the point? What is the core of this video? Well, this video that I'm making is really just me wanting to discuss or talk about what the end game for me is at the very least. I can only tell you what the end game for me is. What do I want? What do I stand for? You know, what do I hope when I make these YouTube videos? I can tell you, for one thing, I would like to certainly make people laugh and think at the same time. That is one of my primary goals. Even if you never agree with me, I think it's totally fine if you don't agree with me, as long as we agree that, you know, we don't sacrifice children to the demon god Molech. I think we're fine if we disagree on policies of economics and, I don't know, whatever, whether you like chocolate or white chocolate better. I'm okay with that, because I realize that we're different people. We were raised by two different people in two different areas, so we're not going to feel the same way about everything, and I think that's totally reasonable. I don't think it makes any sense at all to try to find people that think the same way you think about everything. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, hell, even considering this, me and my sisters were all, you know, raised by the same two people in the same exact environment, and all three of us are totally different people, so it's not a reasonable thing to me. So I'm fine with people not agreeing with me, but I do want people to think complexly about any subject matter that I got brought up or I bring up. I do want people to consider it for at least 15 minutes of your day, you know, to flex those muscles, you know, this muscle that you have up here, you know, to teach you people that it's okay to think for yourself and to think complexly, that it's fine to disagree, that it's fine to not feel the same way about something, to be an individual. And I want you to come out of that video to know that when you come here, when you comment, you can disagree. You can say, I don't feel this way, and I'll be all like, yeah, that's fine, totally. Why do you not feel this way? And I'll have a conversation if I find the time, or if your comment doesn't get lost. You know, sometimes I lose comments, and I'm sorry for that. But the point is, you know, I want you to laugh and think at the same time, to have a good time watching the video and to think complexly about the topic. That's one of my ultimate goals. I say all the time in my videos. But, you know, in terms of affecting the culture, what would I like to see? What would my end game be? At what point? What are my victory conditions when it comes to arguing against social justice warriors and feminists? And I would have to say, me personally, and I would love to see other people make this video. I would love to see other people say, this is my end game. This is what I would like to see. This is the change I'd like to see in the culture. Please, by all means, I hope people watch this. Signal boost this so people will make that video. I would love to understand their motivations. Because my motivations are as follows. One, I want to see a lot more respect for both men and women. There's just way too much dissension, way too much vitriol and anger between the sexes, and considering the fact, and a lot of people don't want to come to terms with it, they don't like it, they don't like hearing it, both men and women, they don't like hearing the fact that they need each other. I know MGTOW, they don't like it, well, generally, not all MGTOW, but some, they don't like hearing the fact that men need women, they don't like it, and it sucks to see that, it sucks to see that pain in men, it sucks to see the pain in a lot of young feminists, you know, considering that maybe some of them were actually raped. It sucks to see that there isn't anyone trying to help them with that, to help them recover from that pain. It sucks to see that even if a woman was just burned by a man, or just treated badly by a man, or even her father, the man that was supposed to treat her well, you know, to see her carry that anger around. It sucks to see that, and it sucks to see that there aren't very many people who are trying to get into the root of the MGTOW and the feminists and heal that pain. I want to see someone try to heal that pain, to say, listen, yes, there are shitty people in the world, and yeah, the shittiness needs to be called out, but at the end of the day, we should all be working to not be those shitty people. Yes, there is horrible, there's evil, there's terribleness in the world, so we should be trying to be better, so we don't end up inflicting that same pain to someone else, or that we heal and make sure that pain doesn't bother us, and so we don't take that pain and put it on to someone that didn't deserve it. That's what I would love to see, is a healing of the pain that a lot of the MGTOW have, and the pain that the feminists have, to heal that, and to say, listen, yes, we've all have dealt with shitty things, we've all been wronged, but we shouldn't then use that anger to wrong other people, or to dismiss other people, to treat other people horribly for what someone else has done. I think that's absolutely abhorrent, to treat somebody else wrongly or differently for something they couldn't even control, they didn't have anything to do with. I mean, let alone control, anyone even present for the pain that occurred to you. And I would like to see that. I would like to see a resurgence of respect between men and women again. You know, and again, I know I call out women all the time for the shitty things that they do. The reason why I do it is because no one else will. No one else, for some odd reason, it is a cardinal sin to call women out on their shit. But I think they need to be called out on their shit, because that's how they're going to become better people. And no one has any issue with calling men out on their shit, so you treat women like you treat men, let's call them out. So yes, it's true, on my channel I have called women out for a lot of the shitty, stupid things that they've done. But that's because hardly anyone else does. And someone needs to say, listen, this is dumb, this is stupid, make a difference in your life. And I would like to see more of that happening, and encouraging more people to become good people, to change and be different. Another thing I would certainly love to see are more stable family units, or more, again, that's jumping off of the healing and the respect men and women have for each other. I like to see people get married and respect the fact that they made a vow to be with that person. You know, even, you know, I'll even extend this to homosexuals, you know. Again, you know, if you say you've made a vow to be with someone, you should honor that. There should be some core of honor and respect for that other person, that you say, listen, this woman pledged her life to me, I pledged my life to her, so we're not going, so if we have a problem, we're going to fix it. Why? Because I respect this woman's time. I respect her loyalty. And I love this woman. And the woman will say, listen, this guy might be annoying sometimes, but I respect his time. I respect the fact that he's done something for me. I respect the fact that he's here for me. And I love this man. So even though we have a problem now, I'm going to fix it. I want to see more of that. I want to see that be encouraged between male and female relationships. A healthy respect for not only each other's time, but for another human being. You have to understand, you're connecting your life to another person. And to just rip that away and to just not care anymore, you know, to only, and here's another thing, I would like to see people stop using the male-female relationship as a way to just feel good about yourself at a time. There's a whole bunch of that isn't talked about a lot. That people just use, you know, the fact that they can have sex with someone, or the fact that they can get attention from someone to feel good about themselves with no care or thought to the other person's emotions. Now this usually happens mostly with young ladies, but I've seen it with men too. You know, they'll use the positive affection someone else has to feel good, but they won't treat the person as another human being. They're just, you know, they're just a dispenser of attention and affection. You know, they only use the person so much as they make me feel good about myself. And when that good feeling stops, they cast them away. And that's how a lot of marriages are. And I would like to see that no longer be a thing. You know, so those are a couple of things. I would like to see children raised again. It's actually the jumping up point. I would like to see children again raised in healthier, stable environments, seeing them be treated well by their parents. You know, obviously no one's perfect. No one's going to be able to perfectly raise any child. You know, maybe they might instill some bad habit in them, but at the very least, you know, treat them well. Put them in at least have some thought as to how am I going to raise this child. And if you don't want children, then you don't have sex with people you don't want children with. You either get a vasectomy, you wear a condom, you get on birth control. There's so many ways to avoid having. If you don't want to have children, do not bring people into this world that are not going to be wanted. And that's another thing that I hope that I can encourage people, you know, and that I can, hopefully these videos will affect someone to make them think complexly about the people that they're going to be having sex with, or the people that they're going to be interacting with. There's certainly a huge end game of mine is to see children, you know, be wanted. To have people want to have children, and to want to raise these children, and to want to help these babies out, you know, because there's way too many children that just are accidents, or just appear, or have to be raised by people that didn't want them. And what does that cause? It just causes more resentment. It just causes someone that's just angry and hateful at the world, and then they just perpetuate that cycle all the time. So hopefully my videos will convince people to break that cycle. You either not have children at all, you just, you know, be all by yourself, and that's your prerogative, or you think complexly about how you're going to raise this child and who you're going to raise this child with, and try to create a healthy environment for them. I think that's a huge thing that gets missed out. Even when we talk about the social justice and the feminists, I've noticed there's a gigantic lack of empathy of how these people were raised and how these people became the way they were. There's a lot of insults, there's a lot of joking and jeering at these people, but never enough stopping and saying, wait a minute, this is still a person, and they had a shitty life. And they came to this because their life was shitty. So let's do something about it. Let's make sure my children don't have that shitty, horrible life that they had. That might be a huge way to prevent this whiny culture that we have now. But, you know, that's hopefully, again, what I would like to see more of in the future. You know, definitely, you know, I'm not really a big guy on changing the laws, making the laws different. But it would certainly be nice to see. It would. I mean, it's not something I really advocate for, but it would be nice to see, you know, more laws that are certainly in the favor of men, or more of a balancing out, certainly in the court system. However, I focus more on culture. That's more for the job of MRAs. MRAs more focus on the laws. I focus more on the culture, more on interpersonal relationships between people. That's what I want to see more. I want to see more people interact with each other a lot better, a lot more favorably. I'm not really so much into the changing the laws, and the laws are certainly a helpful thing, but it's just not my focus. I'm not saying you shouldn't focus on it. I'm saying I don't focus on it. Someone else can do that because they can do it a lot better than I can. But when it comes to seeing the culture, seeing the way we interact with each other, that's my end game. My end game is to see more respect between men and women, see children raised in a healthier environment, to see people think more complexly about the things they believe in, to think more complexly about the world that they're supposed to be in, and to not just automatically jump down the throat or automatically believe anything they hear, but to think, to critically evaluate it, to think reasonably, you know, to see people treat other people better, to see people not want to inflict the pain on them, inflict it back on the other people. That is certainly what I would like to see. And of course, this video is sappy as all fucking hell, you know, but I don't know, maybe we need more videos like this. Honestly, I'm saying it. Maybe we need more mission statements, more people saying this is what I would like to see in the world, you know. So hopefully, with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button, comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.